You've been sold a lie, and not just any lie, the biggest scam in human history. They told you that happiness was the goal, that if you worked hard enough, smiled big enough, and played the game long enough, that you would actually make it. But here's the truth. If happiness was the answer, happiness as they show it to us, then why did the people who had everything still end up empty inside? Robin Williams made the world laugh with the greatest of sadness inside of him. Anthony Bourdain had a dream job, food, travel, and fame, and yet he chose to leave it all behind. Marilyn Monroe, more than a sex symbol, she was an empire. And yet, behind the camera, her smile was an illusion. Happiness is a drug, very similar to weed and coke. All you get is a high, a cheap thrill that fades faster than applause at an awards show. And the harder you chase it, the more it stays out of reach. Happiness is that golden carrot that's been dangling in front of us since birth. But stop for a moment and think. How many of us actually find it? And what if happiness isn't the goal? Welcome to Fatty's Mind Forge, and tune in for some perspective. If this is the first time you're here on this channel, I would really appreciate it if you would press like and subscribe. Really helps out this small channel. Let's talk about the dark side of happiness. We live in an age where people treat happiness like a performance. Instagram smiles, LinkedIn success stories, that one friend who'll continuously keep posting about their perfect relationship. But let's get one thing straight. The constant pursuit of happiness is the fastest way to misery. Because no matter how much we achieve, we'll eventually always return to our baseline. Buy a new car, you're happy for a week. Get promoted at work, you're happy for a month. It's like running on a treadmill and hoping that you'll actually reach the finish line. Scientists have a term for this called the hedonic treadmill, and it was coined back in 1971. It's not a new thing. The more we chase happiness, the more empty and anxious we become inside. Studies show that people who are obsessed with being happy are in fact the ones who are most likely of being depressed. On that note, let's segue into our next section, which is how celebrities seem to define or defy this theory. Let's talk about Jim Carrey first. He's a personal hero of mine. The man built his career on exaggerated performances of comedy. Ace Ventura, The Grinch, The Mask. These are iconic roles. And yet, recently in an interview, Jim Carrey was asked, "Who is Jim Carrey?" And he said, "I don't exist. Jim Carrey is a character that I play." Take another example. Kanye West, billionaire, musical genius, cultural icon, and yet his public meltdowns are proof that no amount of fame or money can actually help with the turmoil within a person. Even Heath Ledger, the Joker, wasn't just a role, it consumed him. They found the diary he kept during filming. The pages were scribbled and filled with just dark thoughts. He did win an Oscar for that role, but at what cost? The list is endless, but to me, there is always a silver lining, and there are great examples of people who have figured out how to beat the system as well. How not to run after that carrot of happiness. Let's talk about that. Denzel Washington. He doesn't always do commercial films. In fact, he doesn't do any film where the role does not agree or align with his own values. As he puts it, ease is a greater threat to progress than hardship. My understanding of that is stop chasing happiness and start chasing meaning. Keanu Reeves lost his best friend, lost his girlfriend, and lost his child. And this is probably the first time that you're hearing about this, because there have been no PR stunts around it, no publicity stunts or desperate attempts to gain attention. Nothing of that sort. Keanu Reeves is just a guy who takes the subway, eats alone, and likes to live life on his own terms. Go back and watch John Wick after this with some added appreciation for the man. And then there's Daniel Day-Lewis. Don't worry if you haven't heard of him. Since the year 2000, he's only appeared in 6 movies. However, he's won 3 Oscars in his lifetime. And at the peak of his Hollywood career, this man retired from acting. He decided to go and live in Italy and learn the art of being a shoemaker. This is a man who's chasing craftsmanship, not the fleeting happiness that comes from fame and applause. This is truly an example of somebody who lives by their own rules. In terms of the ones who I feel have defied the system and figured out their own way, they keep dropping hints and golden nuggets of knowledge every now and then, but there are a few things that nobody really tells you about happiness, and that's what I've distilled into the next 4 things that I'm sharing with you here. Happiness is not something you get, it is a byproduct of something that you do, or do a lot. Stop chasing dopamine. It is a drug, not a destination. All you are going to do is get high and then come down. Stop treating happiness as the goal. Think of it more like gasoline. It's the fuel that's going to help you get to the destination rather than the destination itself. And lastly, pain is not your enemy. It is your sculptor. Your personality, your very being is defined and carved out of how you apply yourself when you are out of your comfort zone and in a tough spot in life. Do not deny yourself that opportunity. The glory is in the struggle. Think about Shah Rukh Khan. At the beginning of his career, he was rejected for his looks and told that he's never going to make it. Today, he rules that city and the hearts of millions around the world. That's power. And that, I'm sure, makes him happy at some level. Stressed in other ways in life. But yeah, ask him. He'll let you know. The bottom line that I understand is that forget happiness. Chase impact. Chase mastery. Chase something bigger than yourself. Because if you live your life just chasing a smile, you'll die wondering why it never lasted. Stay sharp, stay aware, and most importantly, stay real. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.